Today we'll be looking at this PARIVISION versus Spirit matchup at the Blast Bounty Finals, in which Spirit lost 2-1 to PARIVISION, and we'll be looking at the last map on Ancient, where PARIVISION actually stopped DONK. DONK posted only a 0.83 rating, and he only got 12 kills, which for his standards is super low, so we'll be taking a look how PARIVISION actually countered him, and they didn't give him enough space to do something on the map. So let's start off with round 4. We can see Spirit are on the city side and DONK is doing pretty good. He has 5 kills and 3 deaths. And now the first gun rounds are in place. So let's see what PARIVISION does. So immediately when the round begins, we can see PARIVISION throwing an insta red smoke, and they are also throwing an insta donut smoke. Now why they do that is because one of DONK's favorite plays is simply just to come here, just to push from red here, bounce a flash of donut, and he can take fights here. And if that position is blocked for him, he will just jump jungle and try to find some kills on mid. However, we can see that firstly PARIVISION do the smoke red and donut, and they molly jungle, as we can see, and as well they nade this position here. So DONK takes some damage, he just falls back into donut, and we can see that Spirit run a setup from red room and from donut. Later, when PARIVISION enter mid, we can see that Zontex is hiding in this closed corner, while PARIVISION are molotoving the further red room. So they will go now this round into B. Spirit will get the info, so they will be stuck there, and Spirit will win the round. Now we can see that the scoreline is 4-1. DONK is 5-4. He's doing pretty good. Now we have the next round where PARIVISION will throw the insta red smoke and they will throw a molly jungle. However, Spirit is not fighting mid this round, so they will just leave DONK into red room. PARIVISION will end up going with a contest B again. They will try to do a B pop and they will fail again. So the scoreline is 5-1 now. DONK is 6-5. So next round we can see PARIVISION called a timeout. They have a half buy. So on the half buy they just simply mollied the heaven boxes on mid. They did a red smoke. They did a B play again, which now worked out for them. So the scoreline is 5-2. And after this round, they started abusing DONK on mid. So they started playing mid a lot. So now we can see. So after this round, we can see that on round 8, PARIVISION actually started to play mid and they started being more aggressive. So we can see that they throw a red room smoke as well as a donut smoke. So those are the two utilities first that they throw, and they combine this with a molly for jungle as well as some chain flashes from T-spawn. We can see that Belchonok is holding flashes for Nota and he's just spamming them. We can see DONK is jumping to jungle here. He is full blind, however he is burning, he extinguishes the smoke, but Shiro saves him and he gets the entry kill. So it's a 5-2 scoreline. However, PARIVISION get into B side, they win this round again. So after a couple of round losses, we can see that Spirit decide to go back to playing aggressive on mid and fighting for mid, letting DONK off the leash so he can find some kills. And now PARIVISION does the same smokes we can see. So every round they throw the donut smoke and the red room smoke just to counter DONK. With those two default utility smokes, they're also throwing an HE, as we can see for this position here. So when you're jumping up to take some damage, as well as they're combining this with the molly for jungle. So if you want to take fights, you firstly need to extinguish it because there are chain flashes in the smoke that we can see that this round is Zwade. So Zway is throwing the chain flashes, and this is how Nota gets the first entry on DONK. So they throw the molly, they throw the chain flashes, and they know that DONK likes to take these fights here from jungle. So simply what he does is he just spams the smoke and DONK gets killed. So Team Spirit are forced to leave mid this round, and as we can see, PARIVISION will go into red room and they will end up winning the round later on. So in this round, we will see adjustments from both teams on how to take mid. So we can see that PARIVISION will do the same smokes that they are doing every round. They will do the HE and the molly for jungle. So they will do a smoke here, they will do a smoke red, this HE here, and they will molly jungle. However, we can see that Spirit wants to fight mid, and DONK actually does his play where he jumps to jungle and he wants to take this line here, this first contact duel here. However, because PARIVISION are throwing so much chain flashes on mid, DONK simply just needs to give this angle away and they are forced to go back into donut, as we can see with Shiro and DONK. So they are going mid. PARIVISION is taking late mid control. We can see that Belchenok and Nota are going up to the heaven boxes. And now, when the smokes fade, we can see that because a couple of rounds ago, 2 times PARIVISION players mollied this position here deep, and they got killed from this one, or simply they got info. So what they do in this round is they will actually smoke off here, and they will throw the molly in the close corner with Jame holding with Diop. So we can see that they are smoking it. They will molly DONK. However, DONK will still find the kill. So yeah, they are mollying him. Jame holds with Diop. He misses the shot. DONK gets a kill into Nota. However, he ends up dying. And we can see that later in the round, PARIVISION will win the round on a 2v2 B-side clutch. So the scoreline from 5-1 to Spirit is now actually 6-5 for PARIVISION. In the last round of the half, we can see that Team Spirit actually fully committed to taking mid, and Zontix is getting an entry kill, so we can see they are just fully running. They made a run boost, and Zontix got the entry, so they fell back. And this round finished on B for PARIVISION, I think, and this was the round where Jame got the state clutch, so we are ending the half with a 7-5 PARIVISION lead, and we can see that DONK has 9 kills and 9 deaths at the half. So let's now see how they countered him on the other side, the T side, where he should be controlling the pace. Now in the second half, we can see that Team Spirit won the pistol round and the second round. However, they fell on the third round. They wanted to rush in and they died. So now they are going back for the mid approach, and we can see now that Team Spirit is doing the default utility, the default smokes that PARIVISION were throwing. So they're throwing a smoke red room and they're throwing a smoke for donut. However, instead of mollying jungle, they are mollying here close. We can see the molly. They are mollying close simply so PARIVISION players don't instantly push here, so DONK can get into this corner after the flashes. We can see that Magix and Shiro are holding flashes for him to go out, so he goes out, he doesn't see anyone close, he just tucks into this corner. Now, after this, we can see that PARIVISION are activating simply because we can see this flash that Belchenok throws. He throws one flash at the boxes, so this is why DONK turns around. However, at the same time, James throws a flash here towards heaven, so we can see DONK dodges the first flash. After this flash, Belchenok throws another flash to Jack's boxes. So DONK turns around. The third flash pops. DONK goes back to peek. He hears Belchenok burning. However, because there's one more flash, he goes to turn around and Belchenok finds the free kill. So this is the perfect utility usage from PARIVISION and how they denied DONK on mid. And this is how they basically came back from the scoreline, and they didn't let DONK do anything on mid. We can see that after this round ends, Spirit go back to take mid control. However, PARIVISION has a read that it will be B. They end up taking the round, and the scoreline is now 9-7 with an equal for Spirit. In the next round, we can see that Spirit don't have a lot of utilities, so this is why PARIVISION actually decide for them to not challenge on mid and to let Spirit take mid, so they can actually focus on the end of the round, so the end execute, because they know that they are low on money from the round losses that they took in the second half. So we can see that they just throw the default utility just so they want Spirit to waste a bit more utility on mid to get out and take the control. And as we can see, Spirit use the Reichi, they use a smoke, they use a flash to get out mid to take it late. So DONK is on mid, he doesn't find anything. He will do a smoke for donut, and we can see that for Spirit to execute now, they have left 2 smokes and a molly and a flash. And while DONK is lurking on mid and the others are just holding B, he will die to Jame later on the timing. This is just an unlucky death in my opinion, because Jame was rotating, he was taking red room, and he saw DONK jumping up to heaven, so he got the kill. And this is another round where Team Spirit are going without DONK, and PARIVISION again have the read that this will be a B-side play, and they are stopping this. Spirit end up saving, and the scoreline is now 11-7, and with their backs against the wall, Spirit need to find now something to do. They are giving the AK to DONK, and they will need some impact from him basically, so if they want to win some rounds. Now in the next round, we can see that PARIVISION does something unusual, which you wouldn't expect. So they are throwing the mid utility, however, because they know that Team Spirit players saved and they won't have a lot of utility for this round again. They are actually putting Jame here into donut, and he will be holding this mid angle. So after the smoke fades, Donk tries to go on a contact mid play, which Jame actually misses the shot on him, which was an easy shot. However, he ended up missing it. So he could have got an easy kill, however, he didn't. And after this, we can see that Team Spirit are regrouping for another big hit. And this round, they actually win the big hit. So the scoreline is now 11-8. In the next round, Jame decides to play solo mid again, but this time he will play from the red room. So we can see that they throw the default utility on mid. However, Spirit now throws the close molly. They will throw a deep molly for jungle. And what's important here is that Belchinok dropped an HE for James. So Jame instantly broke the smoke in red room. He saw that no one is out. So now he's waiting for the second timing. When he hears the second flashes get thrown from Zontix, this is when he breaks the smoke a second time. He doesn't see anyone, so he has another HE that's dropped to red room for him. But he sees that the smoke is fading, so he decides just to hold the angle and not break the smoke again. And we can see now Donk has a smoke and he goes up to line it up to smoke red room. However, someone on their team calls that they don't want that smoke, so he actually doesn't throw it. He will throw a smoke for Donut, so he bounces off the wall. And he will flash red room, but he will do a bad flash. So we can see that Jame is holding now from this deep angle, as we can see. And the flash will pop here, so it won't blind him. And Jame will find a free kill with the open to him. And this is just another round for Team Spirit when they start in the disadvantage, and the disadvantage being Donk. So PARIVISION end up winning this round. And for the final round, we can see that because PARIVISION conditioned them so much on mid and Donk was dying on mid all the time, Team Spirit actually decided to do a B pop, in which we have for PARIVISION a 3B start again, and we have Jame grenading the smoke red room. So he saw that no one is on mid, so he started rotating because the hit from Spirit was on B was coming, and we can see that they have a great read, and they will end up winning the round. And PARIVISION won 13-8, and they beat Spirit, and they ended up beating Furia after them and Falcons to win the Blast Bounty. So yeah, this was how PARIVISION conditioned Donk. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below what you want to see more. I'll see you soon for more.